Look, if you've never heard of Mecha Break before, this is your sign to pay attention. Explosive mech fights, squad-based chaos, custom strikers, and it's been one of the most slept on games in testing. And if you have been following it, then you already know what's coming. Season 0 is officially here in less than a week, and it is packed. I've got a full breakdown of what's dropping, what's changed, and why now is the time to jump in. So, let's get into it. Okay, this is where things get super fun. The pilot customization is extensive. You've got sliders for pretty much everything. Face shape, hairstyle, colours, and other features. And the best part? Everything you're seeing here is completely free to tweak. And check this out. You can list your look on the marketplace for other players to buy. Set your own price, and if somebody grabs your style preset, you get a cut of it. Honestly, I love this new system. It rewards player creativity and it means I can spend hours in the pilot customization without feeling guilty. Next up, we have new areas we can unlock as pilots. For example, the gym. You'll need to get a pass to get in, but yeah, we have a gym now. That's pretty sick. You can even now invite your friends over to hang out with you in your hangar or even chill at the bar, grab yourself a couple martinis before the next fight. There's a photo mode too, with custom poses, so you already know I'm going to be spamming selfies with the gang. And now painting your striker. Similarly to customizing your pilot, all of the paints you see here are free to use. You have complete control how your mecha looks and what you decide to customize it as. I'm going to go with the theme of Super Mecha Champions. Let me know in the comments what your mecha theme's going to be. So before we continue looking at all of the new amazing features that have been added to Mecha Break, let's take a quick look at what Season 0 has to offer, and boy is it stacked. We've got 15 unlockable strikers, 6 seasonal weapon skins, 10 maps for Operation VERGE, 4 for Ace Arena, and a new Operation Storm mode for Mashmak. And there are many major updates coming to base exploration, such as riding around on a jetpack. Now for the juicy stuff. Let's talk about the system reworks and the system revamp for Mashmak. This extraction mode just got huge. We're talking cinematic drop-ins, weapon crates, PvE combat, and a new Hellcat boss. And according to the developers, Mashmak's mechanics have been completely overhauled. Even if the map looks familiar, tuning loops, loot, and extraction flow all got reworked. So the first big change that has come to Mashmak is the weapon system. You no longer have to worry about grinding to unlock stuff, and you can now pick up weapons straight from the field and use them right away. It keeps the pace moving and gives way more flexibility during a Mashmak run. Lore bosses and strikers are now part of Mashmak 2, which is super cool for anybody that is into the backstory of the whole Mecha Break world. Additionally, there are 3 new difficulty levels, but you can't just dive into the hardest one right away. You need to meet a new stat called Battle Readiness. That means if you're not up to scratch, you'll need to prep before taking on the big stuff. For those of you that hated the beam cannon meta in the beta testing, oh, have I got some good news for you. The devs have confirmed that this has now been nerfed. Yes, you heard it right, the beam cannon has been finally nerfed. Another big change to the Mashmak game mode is that if you die, you can now lose all your modular weapons. So every decision hits harder. And yeah, there are no teammate revives on extreme difficulty as well. You wipe, that's it, I'm afraid. There's also a new player marketplace where you can buy modules and gear, which opens up some interesting trade opportunities. And when it comes to extracting now, it has been confirmed that there are now 4 different ways to do so. But the devs are keeping the details under wraps for now, so we don't actually know what the other 3 extraction methods are. in addition to the changes made to Mashmak, Operation VERGE, the 6v6 game mode, has also seen some amazing changes. Arguably the game mode that is the heart of the game, Operation VERGE now sees 5 objectives across 10 different maps. The objectives that are included in Operation VERGE include the key seizure mode, which is simply grabbing the key and keeping hold of it whilst you upload it to a point. You also have the option of getting extractor defusal, which is trying to defuse a bomb in the middle of a mecha fight. In my opinion, this mode is the most chaotic to get. There's also the possibility of getting the objective node capture, which is your classic territory control game mode. Another objective that you can get is the payload escort. Simply jump on your payload and escort it to the end, or alternatively hop on the enemy's payload and send them right back to the beginning. And the final objective that you could get is the team elimination. The first 8 kills wins the round, and it's brutal. Now let's take a quick look at the 10 maps that are available. Some of these maps will be extremely familiar for those who played the beta test of Mecha Break. However, it has been confirmed that there have been the addition of new maps, including Vigil Ibrium and Poseidon Armory. So Vigil Ibrium is a lunar map with low gravity and harsh environmentals that actually affect your mecha's performance. The same applies for Poseidon Armory, where you're underwater. This was a huge highlight for me in the live stream by the developer, as this map takes you underwater mid-match. The environmental change is extremely important to note when you're on this map. What's really nice is that the dev team have gone above and beyond. They've given us 10 different maps, not one of them the same, and they each challenge every person in their own individual way. Having 10 different and unique maps on launch is extremely exciting for me as a Mecha Break player. The reason I say it's exciting for me is because I've played mech games in the past that have had limited number of maps and have subsequently failed and no longer exist anymore, as their player bases have just simply got bored. Having a large library of different maps and different objectives is extremely important for player retention, and I believe Mecha Break have hit the nail on the head in terms of retaining players due to the variety of the game. It has also been confirmed by the devs on the stream that with each new season, new content will be released, meaning that we're most likely to see new maps in the near future. As I mentioned earlier, the developers gave us a lot of new information and exciting changes on their live stream. Switching over to the Ace Arena, the 3v3 mode, the developers gave us an insight to a lot of the changes that they've made to this mode, including some neat little features that can turn the tide of any game. The developers confirmed that they've upped the required number of kills from 5 to 8, and they've even implemented overtime, which comes about if both teams are on the same score and the time runs out. In order for a team to win in overtime, they are required to get 2 more kills above their opponents. Personally for me, increasing the number of required kills from 5 to 8 and the implementation of overtime ensures that the games are not short. I found that to be an issue in the beta testing, whereby one team would completely dominate a game and it would be over in a matter of minutes, which isn't fun for anyone. Another great addition to Ace Arena is that you can swap strikers on respawn. This allows for all teams to improvise and adapt their tactics in order to win the match. And it can be noted that you can do this as many times as you respawn. It's going to be a case of constantly counter-picking your enemy's mechas, and that's very exciting. It's going to change the whole dynamic of this game mode and keep it fresh. Additionally, another feature that the devs mentioned is airdrop clash. So this is airdrops coming into the map to change the flow of the game mid-fight. At any point during the match, airdrops will appear with randomized weapons for anyone to pick up and use in that match. However, if you do get killed with one of these weapons, unfortunately you do drop them and you do lose them. But there are plenty of airdrops that come around, so I can't see that being a huge issue. Other cool additions added to Ace Arena is Dynamic Warfare. Maps will change mid-match. With the inclusion of pole storms on some maps, teams are going to have to start improvising and changing their tactics So they could utilise the striker respawn and pull out a Falcon in order to locate the enemy in these pole storms. The combat matrix is another exciting feature that was showcased on the live stream. Not only are pilots going to have to remain aware of where their enemy are, they're going to have to watch out for falling blocks. The Space Carrier Trailblazer also brings some more exciting dynamics to the game. There are giant lasers that can decimate any striker that goes in its path. I can already see Big Bully Panthers pushing me into this beam because my awareness sucks. Now let's take a look at the striker reworks and revamps. The devs really took on our feedback. All of the melee strikers in Mecha Break have received a melee combat reset. This includes Alesenus, Vulcan, Panther, and the new mecha Stellaris. This reset allows for these melee mechas to use their melee weapons to reset a combo. It allows the striker to seamlessly jump into boosted attacks over and over again as long as they get the kill. Another much needed rework has come to Alesenus and Panther. They can now switch from their melee weapons to their secondary during a boost attack. The two aerial mechs, Falcon and Sky Raider, both received a revamp as well. They can now do slow loops. This is great for Falcon players as during a slow loop they can actually still fire their missiles and remain locked onto the enemy. It's great to see that slow loops have been included for Sky Raider as it really just makes sense that both flying mechas can do this maneuver. Additionally, a lot of players fed back to the devs that Alesenus in its purge form was too weak, so it's received the weapon update. After an armor purge, the energy autocannon on Alesenus can now be charged whilst attacking with the induced sword. Falcon has also received the weapon update. The recon kit now ignores terrain, stealth, core 8 haze and pole storms, and it now allows for enemies to be displayed to teammates. Narukami has also received the weapon update. The traction grappler now staggers an enemy when Narukami leaps over its head. Welkin has also received a number of different weapon updates. The visual effects of its defense field have been drastically reduced to assist Welkin players from actually seeing their enemy. The defense field now finally blocks all frontal attacks. It also prevents enemy movement and Welkin can still attack through it. Inferno is another striker that has received the weapon update. The booster kit now grants immunity to immobilization and staggering, whilst massively boosting the energy regeneration and fluid armor regeneration. Additionally, Inferno becomes untargetable and leaves behind an optical illusion, which can bamboozle the enemy. A pilot can tap the booster kit again in order to deactivate it early and reduce the cooldown. Lumine has also received a much needed buff. The support jet wing can now be activated while staggered and immobilized. The same concept has also been applied to Stego and Triceratops too. Now let's take a quick look at the adaptability new attributes. As mentioned earlier, there have been several new maps that have been released that have environmentals that affects a mecha's attributes. These environmentals include going underwater, being in space, and being on the moon. Each striker is individually affected, and you can see how each individual striker is affected by clicking on the tactical station and then Operation VERGE. Maps that have the aquatic environmental can drastically reduce a striker's speed, the evade range, and even the jump height. And you can easily identify which one is affecting you by the red warning signs next to your striker. Within a lunar environmental, strikers gain increased speed, evade range, jump height, ascend speed, and knockback range. Basically a Falcon's dream. Now before we take a look at the brand new mechas Mecha Break's releasing, let's have a look at the Reign of Fire. The Reign of Fire is a Season 0 exclusive, and it offers some amazing cosmetics. I am particularly excited for the Scorching Fire elements that we can now add to our strikers. All of the items shown can be obtained from the Scorching Fire supply crate. And these items aren't just limited to in-game. You could actually pull a Falcon model voucher, which you can exchange for the model kit of Falcon. Now let's take a quick look at what these cosmetics look like in-game. These cosmetics look absolutely gorgeous and I'm so excited to grind them. But I know you're not interested in that. So why don't we just take a look at the new strikers Mecha Break's releasing. First up we have Serenith, a support striker that is about to change the game. With an orbital striker, a radar and a grappler, I can already see Serenith being nerfed. Next up we have Stellaris, the stealthy melee class. Equipped with a warblade, optical camouflage and a tactical claw, Stellaris is going to change how melee mechas fight. And in the right hands, this striker is going to be an absolute menace to deal with. During this livestream, we were absolutely spoilt rotten. And what we've shown so far isn't even all of it. During this update, we were shown even more exciting things, including a Falcon Model Kit, which looks absolutely breathtaking. And honestly, I wish I could say that was all, but we were treated to a snippet of a Mecha Break anime, with further confirmation that this will further explore the lore for Mecha Break. I cannot express how excited I am. And this game is going to be free on Steam, Xbox, and eventually PlayStation. So don't miss out. Pre-register in the link below and ensure you're ready for Mecha Break's release, with global launch being on the 1st of July 2025. Be sure to pencil this into your calendar as this is not a game to miss.